And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off the last time in the Shadow Empire, where we've, over the intern, just had a very bad intern. There's 2,000 infantry now dead. We only killed 100 in exchange. Incident firing a popular subject. Well, we're meritocracy. They're gonna have to learn to deal.
Wilco.
I think I need to turn the Economic Council down a bit. Don't want to add it to Foreign Affairs. Secret Service is fine. Staff Council is fine. Where do I want to put these extra? Because I think I'm going to turn down Eco by 10. So where do I want to put the 10 points? Okay, we'll put 5 more in. Or not 5. Well, I want to turn you down to 10. Let's leave military where it is. Yeah, let's put most of it into the Supreme Command Council. Approve those two. Okay, so what do we want to do here? I don't think flat guns help with being nuked. Don't know what the intercept capacity is on our weapons for dealing with nuclear strikes. Yeah, let's go ahead and just develop the new and improved Foot 4, aka the Foot 5. Keep them on the charged Gauss rifle. We're not going to go to laser rifles. We're going to jump from heavy combat armor to heavy battle rest. So these guys are going to be less frequent. We're going to probably stick around on the 4 for most of our troops. Yeah, we can happily take government democracy here. We're going to say no. Let's actually just say no.
Order acknowledged.
We don't need to keep these guys happy. I do want mine to meritocracies. Set for them. City upgrade, Ergscone to 6. Yeah, let's take that. Let's roll that unification. It probably will fail.
Affirmative.
And it continues to fail. Okay. We'll finish our troops. Apparently it looks like over the intern we mostly lost... Well, I say mostly. We lost a large amount of mercenary troops as well. So maybe it wasn't as bad on the mainline troops as I initially feared. Okay, so the Arachnids all the way over here are dealt with, so we just got this batch here. And then we can pull everyone out. So we do that, and then the motorized units can finish the attack, because there won't be any place for them to run away to.
Attack formation. All clear, sir.
And as he says, all clear, sir. These are GR infantry, we'll just have them march north. And then everything's going to start walking back to the road for redeployment. Exception of the militia. I think we'll try to move the militia over here to free up the 7th, 6th, or the 7th, the 2nd, and the 6th, as time permits. Time and resources permit. Oh, he's all the way over there. Okay. Trying to figure out where they all went. Of course, motorized units on road move surprisingly quickly. Under their own power. And they may be a little bit heavy for strategic redeployment. So I'm not, wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these don't make it very close to the front this turn, but we'll start moving them. Okay, so a couple of those will show up this turn. Actually, for the moment, I probably want the attack aircraft in the south to back up the militia, because the militia don't really have very much firepower. The militia units don't have firepower, but oh, do they have dreams. Hopes and dreams. Sadly, I don't think those hopes and dreams are going to be enough to save them most of the time, but they're going to try. Okay, so instead of taking an aggressive posture up there, I'm going to pull back a little bit. So we don't outrun our supply lines too much until our reinforcements arrive. I'm tempted to go over the low mountains here. We probably got enough industry that I can take some a little bit inefficient choices for my roads going forward. At some point, I should probably build a new version, because this is the old light rudder one that I built a long time ago that isn't particularly great. The new attack helicopters are better, and to be fair, even the new recon helicopters would be better. I just haven't built any yet. Okay, so that's our redeployment on the western front. We do have the first two motorized are going to show up, so we'll probably shore up the southern portion of the line with them, because they should actually deal pretty good with these tanks. Yeah, 50mm polymer armor is not going to have a fun day going up against our 300mm or 300mm howitzer guns. These aren't necessarily the best anti-tank. But they have, with this caliber, they at least have armor penetration, right? So these guys won't necessarily do a lot of damage, but they should be able to do damage. They shouldn't be taking any penalties against these tanks. And then we also have bazooka units in here, and the bazooka units are pretty lethal as well. Forget what heavy RPG is classed as for armor-piercing purposes. But a lot better than a normal combat rifle, to be sure. It's that front. The picket units down here really can't advance unless I'm willing to burn a lot of industrial capacity roading the mountains here. Is that... Oh no, that's the Dessau Reach. I was about to go, is that our, the hostiles? Oh, that is the hostiles. That's not good. All the more reason maybe not to be trying to road into the mountains here. Maybe we want to hold the mountain ridge where we are to the approach of Ronbrun. Bunker 1 is done. Do I want to try going up to Bunker 2? No, not at the moment. I don't really have the construction capacity for it. We're about to finish the demonization plant. The high-speed rail is done. Okay, so the high-speed rail will serve as an alternative source of logistics if we get the main rail hub damaged again. In fact, actually, that was probably what was affecting our logistics capacity. Is this was pretty heavily damaged. Production was limited by minus 100% due to 202 asset damage. Yeah, maybe that's the problem we're having with logistics right now, is the rail hub has not yet recovered from being nuked. That's a thing. That is a thing. So here we have a railhead. We have a truck station. The truck station here is now finished with its railhead. Do I want to officially make this a colony? Yeah, let's officially declare this a colony.
Sir, yes, sir.
I did that wrong. Meant to hit new zone. Still making a new zone. Now if I hit colonize, can I send... Oh, there we go, to this new zone. But they really won't, because I don't really have... Don't have any logistics capacity to deliver them there. Okay. It'll be fine. Okay, so next turn when I have more logistical capacity, we'll have to shove some more people in there. Otherwise I'm going to have problems with trying to maintain the people working the truck station and the railhead. But, oh, also one thing I can do, this won't help, is I can go ahead... Well, this won't help because it'll probably make it worse in the short run. But let's drop some of the free amenity... Well, the free, in quotation marks, amenities. Drop the zoo product there. Drop the commercial projects there. I will go ahead and drop the automated clinic there as well. Back merchant. So we've got some health, entertainment. I think the only thing we're missing is security. So I could drop that as a security point. Yeah, that'll be getting a little bit ahead of myself, but we'll do that as well. Okay, so our new... When all of this has actually got enough workers to work, this will have all the basic needs that it needs. So now I just need to make sure it gets people. So that the workers that I'm employing don't get completely pissed that the civilians are being paid better than them. The solution to which is throw enough civilians in the zone that the civilians are pretty badly paid. And we've got troop extraction coming from here. That'll take a couple turns, especially if the rail hub is not forthcoming with supply capacities. Okay, let's roll the intern. They've put the fear of nukes into me. Let's hopefully not get nuked more. We've put some bunkerization into the major cities, which, if my understanding of how bunkerization works, should help mitigate some of the damage if we get nuked again. But I don't think 400 points of bunkerization is not going to make a big difference. It'll make a little bit of a difference, but it's not going to make a big difference. Not enough due to the size of the cities. The cities are quite big. I suppose one of the places where it may make a difference is it, in theory, would protect the rail hubs a little bit, so we're unlikely to suffer the rail hub getting completely neutralized again. Which, to be fair, was something I didn't immediately realize had happened from the first nuclear strike. Wow, for the understanding that my foot 4 should be fairly competent, they're not doing particularly great, given the fact that they should be roughly on par. I don't know how much of that is maybe bad logistics. Maybe my guys are starting to run out of ammunition or something. Though with the rail hub in and the new high-speed rail, as long as we don't get nuked again, we should have a bunch more logistical capacity for this upcoming turn for the redeployment. So hopefully we'll be able to put a little bit more backbone in our field troops here. Because if I can't get back on the attack, we're gonna start to flounder, especially if they can keep nuking us. They've only been nuked once, but that did damage us. We lost like a ninth of our population in one strike. And out of the winning majors, we're actually the smallest population-wise, so losing a ninth of our population was a problem. Yeah, 1400 infantry is bad. New foot 5, and we discovered the concept of jetpack troops, which would in theory be actually pretty good troops for fighting in the mountains. Incentivize more mercs to join. Point an advisor. We now have the ability to have 2 advisors. I've been really bad in just not actually using my advisors, so I'll probably appoint the lower skilled person to the job so I can keep the higher skilled person for a more active job. We did just improve the infantry. Let's improve the support teams as well. Build on the twin barrel. Keep the same gun. Once again, we'll go ahead and go the jump to heavy battle dress as our improvement choice. Protests are against high income tax in Ergstone. Calm them down by rolling, by talking to them, which is basically do a diplomacy roll. This should succeed. 145 is bigger than the difficulty, so it's basically guaranteed success. This is going to give us meritocracy and government, which is fine. Proposing a personal session, which is mind and meritocracy. Good. This is one of the other reasons not to assign the best guy. So this Cap 5 will be in charge of that new city.
Aye, sir.
Alien is trying to talk to us. So send a logistics team. Control traders, relationship increase with whom? With the guy that wants to be allies with us. I'm gonna say no. We can make them happy again. I don't necessarily want to crack down on the merchants because we're pro commerce. Okay, let's come look at the terrible state of our affairs over here. And yeah, it's pretty bad. We'll try to avoid some encirclement. We'll have the weakened guys. Actually, yeah, that's about what we're gonna do. We're actually gonna have U4 black. I could try to encircle this guy, but they just attacked headlong into us. And did a very good job of it. So let's not assume our guys are in particularly good fighting position. In theory, they have roughly par stats, which is what makes it particularly disconcerting that we got pushed back so hard. Though there's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it looks like the frontline guy got hit with 6 of them. Driven back, this guy did a follow-up on the guy. So part of that might have just been that our units weren't really in a position to handle taking a follow-up attack after getting heavily outnumbered. Betraying an attack. third truck has arrived roughly to the front. One thing I try to do is I try to do normal movement first before strategic movement. Because strategic movement will take all their action points away regardless of how far you move them. And strategic movement you're paying off of the logistics grid. So you can get your movement points before you strategic move, but you can't get your strategic move. You're going to pay the same. You're going to pay less if you can be partially closer to the target before you do the strategic move. Well, you're going to have to go west anyway. You don't have enough bouncing to move over the mountains. Okay, so that is the non-strategic moves. So now it's time to start doing the strategic moves. And we are going to get a little bit of strategic move. Looks like not all the way to the front. At least not with the reconnaissance units. They're probably the heavier ones. Okay, so that's the limit on the strategic moving. Yeah. As we get more and more of the units out of here, it'll free up more strategic move capacity for other units to be moved. As less and less of the logistics will be spent on supplying troops in the pocket or in the front to start with. Now goes the repairs. They're going. We now actually have some usage of these assets again. Civilization score is obviously in decline due to the damaged assets. Repaired 50 damage points. Okay, so it's going to take like 4 or 5 turns to get back to functionality. Demilitarization plant's done. High-speed rail is decently effective. Let's get moving on with demilitarization plant 4.
Copy that.
And I will splurge. The capital is important, so the capital is going to get more bunker. I'm going to bunker the capital up a bit more. Because it would be a bad day if the capital got nuked. I did not have it prepared to receive a nuke. I'm going to sell a bunch of high-tech parts off.
Roger that.
Use that money to buy fuel.
Roger that.
Yeah, fuel's the only thing that's worth buying. Could technically buy metal, but the metal's not worth it. And then we'll do replacements. We'll actually do the fancy expensive replacements. How many do I need? 1,100. Hopefully this will stiffen up our front line a little bit as these actually get out and deployed. And we do have logistics now here, so let's send these as population. And apparently we don't have a lot of logistics out here,
Aye,
so
sir.
that's a bit of a shame. We'll send what we can. 400 new people showing up. To go with the 100 they already received. Okay. Oof. Hadn't counted for that, so they weren't able to actually complete their upkeep on some of the civilian assets. Some civilian assets took a bit of damage. Did we roll the unification for the turn? I don't think so. No.
Affirmative.
Roll the unification, still says no. Is kind of expected. Let's play a plea of friendship on our allies down here to get most of our opinion malice back. Oh, that's the fourth major. So we have found number 4, which is now in fourth. So let's actually see. Can we open negotiations with number 4? One potential path to victory is a coalition of allies.
Order acknowledged. Order acknowledged.
Whoops.
Order acknowledged. Order acknowledged. Order acknowledged. Order acknowledged.
Anyway, that should be enough that we should be able to open negotiations with them. And figure out how much they like and or hate us. Apparently they really hate us. We'll find out how badly they hate us. And whether or not we can fix that on the next turn. Let's roll the turnover. Okay, they're pulling back, which... Okay, they're pulling back in some places and they're counterattacking in some places, so... looks like most of the attacks are coming in on the south, which isn't surprising. It's mostly militia forces down there. Yeah, looks like Braunburn has finally correctly brought their troops back to deal with the front over here. I think we just got airstruck based on that statement, which, if that is the case, that would be something fairly new. It would be the first time I have been airstruck before in the game. Okay, so other than the militia forces, it looked like most of our southern group held reasonably well. Well, most of our western force held, except on the south, where the militia forces were. It may be because in the other fronts they weren't prepared to carry out any attacks, in which case we might get a thrashing on the next turn. And it's now our turn. This will probably be the last turn of the part. Oof. 1,900 units over in the end turn, and we didn't actually kill anything in exchange. It's bad.
Copy that.
Electrical engine, fusion engine. Probably beam gun is what I'm going to do next. Yeah, beam
Order
gun.
acknowledged.
So I have that in photonic mines. So we just did the new model of MG. We're going to basically do the same, but with bazookas. Keep the best weapon. We're going to upgrade to the heavy battle dress. Send a basic logistics team. Try unification. We're probably going to get told no again. Yeah. Before I do a lot of strategic redeployment, let's try to deploy as much civilians here as we can. There we go. Now we got some civilians to do maintenance. So that should hopefully be enough to keep the civilian sector buildings there from falling down. So some of the vacancies got filled by the Foot 5. And yeah, the Foot 5 are about 50% better than the old Foot 4. Let's actually slightly full back here. And we'll have the motorized come in and try to backfill the line, please. I don't quite have logistics get in the mountains. I'm just going to hope that they also fail to have logistics get up the mountain. I'm going to put that on the HQ, and they can carry out their attack next turn. And this is maybe not optimal, but worst case scenario, that'll mean the HQ will serve as a backstop to guys trying to take an end round around the mountain. Motorized guys running up the road. Same thing with the tanks. Okay, so that's our guys moved. Can we merge these guys? It looks like no. Well, there is one option. Just pay the political power. Oh, no, it's not going to let me do that. Okay. So I have to merge them. It's not going to let me merge these guys, because they're not quite the right type for mixing. Okay. So let's get back to contemplating strategic redeployments. Oh, actually, before we get to the strategic redeployments, I forgot about these guys up here. So those guys are going west. Those guys are going... We got wests and easts. The militia are going east. The recon is going west. So we have to basically get the recon to the front. The militia will... Actually, in this case with the militia, you're going to go to take over Ocelot's duty so that the mercs can go do merc duties up at the front. Welcome to the front. Okay, now we get to strategically deploying the motorized. So the first one basically arrives at the front. The second one is basically arriving at the depot, and the depot, and the depot. Oof, not even gonna get to the depot. HQ following along behind. HQ we can just dump at the depot. Your militia, we're gonna send you east. The tanks. We're gonna barely move because they're tanks. And very quickly just eat up all the logistical capacity, okay. Because that's what tanks do. They're big, they're heavy. Trucks don't move them very well. Okay, that's our strategic redeployment. We're gonna have a few more motorizers showing up at the front soon. If they don't try to do the end around the mountain, we might actually have the Merc go into the mountain to deal with that, because they're ideal for low supply issue areas. And that's the front. So next turn we'll have to do a little bit more poking to see if we can push the front back now that we got new troops arriving. One thing I'll need to remember to do is, instead of maybe running... The motorized units haven't been a problem, because the motorized units are running foot, bazookas, machine guns, and loaders, and the artillery. But the infantry I should probably upgrade before they come out to the front. I should probably not throw more foot 3s at the front. I don't think that's a great use of our frontage for the moment. So upgrading them to grenadiers, so they've got the RPGs and the MGs, and then maybe deploying them to free up and relieve the existing frontline units, so they can come back and retrofit up to grenadiers is probably what we should do, just to get some more quality units up at the front. And before I forget about it, we probably want some new talent.
Aye, aye, sir.
Don't necessarily think the corporate scientist is going to be the best of talent. We'll grab a corporate scientist, we'll grab a military leader. Just in case we take some combat losses on our command staff. And we're out of petrol. Okay, so I should go to the market and say, market, give me all the petrol you're going to give me, which is incredibly expensive, but we're going to buy it anyway. And maybe that's one reason not to go super on the offensive, is apparently we're blowing through our petrol like there isn't a tomorrow. Demilitarization is expanding, bunkerization is expanding. We don't have a power problem right now, so one way to try to not have a problem is to make more petrol. So let's build a deep core
Copy that.
gas extractor in the capital, and let's upgrade the synthetic fuel refinery in the capital.
Copy that.
And then the tech we are working on is fuel efficiency. Wow, we're already up at 10. Well, I suppose fuel efficiency on engines doesn't auto-apply, right? So it's affecting some of my stuff, like it's affecting the train stations and stuff like that. It's not actually affecting my field troops unless the field troops get retrofit. So with it being up at 75%, it's time to call up good old Applied Council researcher. Well, 69%. 69% is... Oh no, it was 69%. It's now 76%. Either way, it's now high enough that it is time to move on to something new. So research.
We'll go.
I think it is time to transition from making more efficient use of our fuel to getting more efficient production of fuel, which is fuel mix optimization.
We'll go.
Because to be fair, my plan is solve the fuel problem, then try to solve the metal problem so we can deploy more troops. And then we can move on to other problems that we don't really have as much of a problem with. So that's the turn. We're going to cycle the turn. As soon as the turn is done cycling, we're going to put another YouTube break and take a short break myself to fill up the teacup. So if you're watching on Twitch, recommend you take advantage of the break to get to top up your own drink, whether it's tea or soda or something. And if you're watching on YouTube, the next part will be up tomorrow, because I'm going to record another part or two tonight, which means there shouldn't be any delays if you're watching on YouTube. Other than me trying to keep to the 30 to 40 minute episodes. We're a little over on this episode. This episode's sitting around 43. It's going to get a little bit longer as we wait for the end turn to cycle. Yeah, so at this point it looks like Bronbrund has formed a proper battle line. There's a couple of voids in it, right? So if I'm able to get my motorized units and tanks over quickly enough and have the petrol, we'll be able to exploit and get a few more destructions. And it might not take too many destructions to get the line to collapse again. But they've got enough of an organized line that unless I've got units that can punch above their weight, like tanks and artillery, that we'd be suffering heavy losses trying to attack into these lines right now, which is why I'm not. If you had guessed, we were taking too heavy losses, so I kind of fell back onto the defensive line, and it looks like they've spent their aggressiveness as I've reinforced my battle lines in a more static position instead of trying to just overwhelm them with the numbers, because their numbers have bulked back up. Okay, looks like it's been a quiet turn. With no real incoming attacks. So unless something goes horribly wrong, like I suppose Mr. Blackmailer here could go hostile, for example. Like that would be something going wrong. Unless something goes horribly wrong, we should be in a good position as far as the end turn is concerned. This will be probably the first turn in a while where we didn't take thousands of losses. And hopefully that continues. And no line forces, so it's back to our turn. And assuming I didn't miss something, we should see in the end card here that we basically didn't take any losses. And we didn't take any losses. So in the next episode, we'll be dealing with those 3 decisions and figuring out how we're going to push our counterattack on Bronburn. So until then, I hope you all have a good time, and see you in the next part. Bye. Bye for now.